about one of my favorite things to do, fishing. My dad has been taking me ever since I learned how to walk. We have some great freshwater lakes in Georgia, plenty of ponds and rivers. Fishing is a good way to spend some time with your dad, and of course, it's a good way to brag and exaggerate the truth when telling about the size of a fish you caught. Fishing, like most other sports, requires some basic equipment. These are fishing pole or a rod and reel. Adults should look for a 6-foot graphite or a fiberglass spinning rod with medium to light flexibility. Look for a 4 to 5 foot rod with a push button reel package for kids. Net to help land your fish. Bait: earthworms, mealworms, plastic worms, artificial bait, chunks of hot dog, or balled up bread. A basic tackle box should be lightweight with latches and compartments, similar to the one I have here. Corks: these are used to keep your bait dangling where the fish will see it and it won't dangle at the bottom. They also lose weight for casting. When the cork goes under, you know you've got a bite. Hooks: as a rule, match the mouth of the fish. With the hook too small and the hook can be swallowed, too big and it won't catch the fish. Knife and or nail clippers, used for cutting tangled line and other repairs. Kids should use nail clippers. Sinkers: these prevent your bait from floating. Be sure to get the safer non-lettered kind. Holding bucket or fish string line can be used to store your catch. If using a bucket, just fill with pond water and place the fish in the bucket or string fish on secure line and dangle in water. Hook removal tool or needle nose pliers. These will come in handy for removing the hook if your fish swallows the hook. First aid kit. This is often overlooked, but accidents will happen and you should be prepared for cuts and scrapes. Fishing license is required. These are usually required for any fishing. You get a license at a tackle shop or going to the DNR website. Most states don't require kids to have license, but they still need to follow the rules. Now I'd like to give you some basic techniques to help you land that fish. Tying the fisherman's knot. Whether you're tying a knot, hook, or swivel to your line, use a slip-proof fisherman's knot. Tie your hook directly to the line or tie on a swivel. Then snap on a snelled hook, the kind with a leader, attach a bobber further on the line. The tricky part of baiting a hook is getting the worm to stay on. Threading the hook lengthwise through the worm does just that. Everyone casts a bit differently. An over-the-shoulder cast is traditional, but a sidearm cast keeps the swinging hook farther from the angler's face. The point of any cast is to get the bait where you want it. Hold the pole in your right or left hand and let the bait dangle a foot from the tip of your pole. With a spinning reel, hold the line under your pointer finger and flip over the wire bait. With a push button reel, push the button with your thumb and hold down firmly. Drop back the rod, being careful not to tangle the line around the rod's tip. Cast the line toward your target and at the same time lift your finger so that the line is free to unravel off the reel. When the bobber lands, crank the reel's handle to flip back the bait. Reel in any slack. Now that I've given you some basic information on fishing, you might ask, how do you find that fish? Well, you have to learn to think like a fish. Fish need namely smaller fish and bugs, but they also need protection from bigger fish. So if you're in a typical pond, try to fish where you can get both. Here are some spots to try: near pondweed and submerged logs, at a drop-off in water depth, at an inlet where fast and slow water meet, beneath docks which offer protection and shade. Also keep in mind that generally fish want to stay cool in hot weather, so you'll find them in shadowy water. In cold weather, they prefer warmth and sun. I hope you've enjoyed my talk on fishing, and I hope you will take the time this year to visit one of Georgia's lakes, rivers, or your favorite pond to catch a mess of fish. Remember, fishing is a great hobby. It requires some basic equipment. Use the basic techniques I've given you to be successful. To find a fish, learn to think like a fish. Thank you.